Thank you so much, Claire, and thanks for joining us on the news segment. We begin with health. The Federal Ministry of Environment expresses concern over the outbreak of cholera in some states, which has claimed many lives. A statement by the Minister of State for Environment says recent situation report from the Nigeria Center for Disease Control indicates 1,159 suspected cases, 65 confirmed cases, and 30 deaths across 30 states. Bayelsa, Lagos, Zamfara, Abia, Bauchi, Cross River, Ebonyi, Delta, and Katsina are mostly affected. The statement adds that the ministry is actively involved through the Department of Pollution Control and Environmental Health, as well as the Environmental Health Officers Registration Council of Nigeria to break further transmission of the deadly disease through water and food testing to identify sources of infection, environmental sanitation campaigns, and household water chlorination, while arrangements are also being made to support states mostly affected by the outbreak with chlorine solution tablets, water and food testing resources, REC materials, as well as technical advisory. The Ministry of Environment says sustainable human and environment interaction is key to cholera prevention and control. From health, we move to mining. Solid Minerals Development Minister Dele Alake commends President Bola Tinubu for supporting reforms in the solid minerals sector, assuring that the National Gold Purchase Program will increase the country's reserve and boost the Naira's value. Presenting the symbolic latest gold bar sourced from artisanal and small gold miners recently, Alake says the refined gold will be sold to the Central Bank of Nigeria to bolster foreign reserves. The event marks the first commercial transaction under the National Gold Purchase Program, the centralized offtake scheme supported by a decentralized aggregation and production network of artisanal and small-scale miners and cooperatives. He pointed out that this has increased the nation's foreign reserves assets. President Bola Tinubu commends the ministry for achieving a major milestone and acknowledges this as another concrete step towards the diversification process under the Renewed Hope agenda. Now, as Nigerians bask in the euphoria of unbroken democratic governance in the last 25 years, the need to recognize and honor individuals who fought for the entrenchment of civil rule has been emphasized. This was demonstrated when President Bola Tinubu was honored as a champion of democracy by the Nigerian human rights community in Lagos. Musa Tolia has details.
The 25 years of unbroken democratic governance being celebrated across the country was not achieved on a platter of gold. Hence, the need to eulogize and celebrate pro-democracy and civil rights activists who fought for democracy in Nigeria. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was one of the pro-democracy activists honored with the Distinguished Award for Courage and Resilience in Democratic Struggle by the human rights community. He was represented by his senior special advisor on media.
The president understands the challenges that people are going through at the moment, and is striving hard to ensure that these challenges are temporary and that they are surmounted. But that is not to say a lot has not been done. There are initiatives that will help to deflate the economy, and Nigeria will be better for it in the fullness of time.
We implore the president to look at the yearnings and the aspirations of the people. We are imploring the president, we are begging and we are equally appealing that the president should to some extent, come policies, the policies that will alleviate the sufferings and the problems and the challenges of the masses.
Former Secretary General, National Democratic Coalition, NADECO, Ayo Okpadokun, was also celebrated.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu should, and it has a duty to himself, to God, and to humanity, and to us in the human rights community, because he was part of us in the trenches, to take immediate measure to restore Nigeria to federal constitutional governance upon which we secured our independence.
Other pro-democracy activists recognized include Nobel laureate Professor Wale Soyinka and NADECO chieftain Wale Osun. In Lagos, Musa Tolia, NTA News.
Let's talk culture. The annual Ojude Oba Festival will not only promote and preserve the cultural heritage of the people, but henceforth be a source of revenue generation to advance the economic growth of Ogun State. This came to fore at this year's Ojude Oba Festival in Ijebu-Ode. Anthony Gandono reports that this year's celebration was sponsored by Globacom.
Pomp and pageantry, sons and daughters of Ijebuland, home and abroad, dressed in colorful attires and well-adorned, converge on the Ojude Oba Pavilion in Ijebu-Ode to celebrate 2024 Ojude Oba Festival. This year's festival is the 18th, sponsored by Globacom Communication. The event began with the parade of about 90 age groups, also known as Regbe and market groups, who paid homage to the Awujale and paramount ruler of Ijebuland, Oba Sikiru Kayode Adetono, as expected. The state governor, Dapo Abiodun, while felicitating Awujale and the entire Ijebu people, promised his administration's commitment to develop tourism as well as improve the economy of the state through Ojude Oba and other annual festivals.
As we celebrate this year's Ojude Oba, let us remember that our strength lies in our unity, and together we can achieve greatness.
The coordinator of this year's festival, Chief Fasi Yusuf, and some Giwa of Regbe spoke on the uniqueness of 2024 Ojude Oba Festival.
More partners, more federal government presence.
That's Regbe Ojude Oba is nothing. It is true, I'm from the Balogun, the outsider people, but since they included this Regbe into it, my brother, it is an excellent performance every year.
We have come here to come and celebrate our father, to come and felicitate him. He's just turned 90 years a few weeks ago.
The representative of the official sponsor of the festival, Globacom Communication, while commending this year's committee, spoke further on the determination of Glo to promote the annual festival and the cultural heritage of the people.
It's a milestone in the celebration of the year festival in Ijebuland, and it's our pleasure to partner with Ojude Oba and the Palace of Awujale to celebrate this festival with Ijebu people.
Other side attractions which added glamour to the festival include equestrian display by Baloguns and horse riders. Trophies and cash awards were later presented to the first 3 best males and females Regbe's at the event. In Ijebu-Ode, Anthony Gandono, NTA News.
And from Ijebu-Ode, we now move to Imo State, where former President Olusegun Obasanjo says wealth creation projects by governments will kick out poverty and joblessness among Nigerians. He stated this during the groundbreaking of Owerri's Central Market project being executed by Imo State government in partnership with private investors.
The Owerri Central Market project was conceived in 1976 but never saw the light of day following its abandonment by successive administrations in Imo State until the current governor, Hope Uzodima's administration, decided to revive the all-important project. Speaking at the groundbreaking ceremony, former President Olusegun Obasanjo noted that an initiative such as the market project, when completed, will create job opportunities and economic development.
Over 2,000 market stalls with adequate warehouses, with adequate security, electronic and physical, and it will be opportunity to create job, opportunity to create wealth.
A conducive atmosphere for the traders that will be resident here to do their businesses in a more hygienic environment and boost the economy of not only the community, not only the local government, not only the state, not only the Nigerian economy, and the global economy.
The governor also assured that all illegal constructions and buildings that constitute obstructions to the project must be demolished.
Away from infrastructure development, death is often described as inevitable for every mortal. However, the demise of a spouse or a breadwinner is a different ballgame. This brings to mind the need to recognize and address the challenges faced by these voiceless segments of society. As the world marks International Widows' Day, Ngozi Teknikio in this report felt the pulse of widows and responses to their ordeals.
The death of a spouse brings tragedy that crumbles the world of the surviving mates. Most vulnerable are women. It comes unannounced and at times so sudden. A once happy glowing face or family becomes dejected and frustrated, deprived of hope and happiness. The experiences of the victims appear unimaginable.
I've been a widow for 20 years. I have 4 boys. For me, my husband said I should stay, no work. I should not work, that he is a man, he will be able to take care of me and the children. Eventually, he died.
I'm 24 years as a widow and I have 4 boys. My first son was 10 years when my husband died. My last baby was 2 years. He didn't even know his father.
So when it comes to the issue of widow, there is a stigma that people attach to widows, and they don't know that it can happen to every person. Every woman is a potential widow.
On the role and perception of the society towards widows, the story seems not to have changed much.
We have so many family friends, so many of them. But as soon as my husband died, as soon as they heard about his death, everybody, I turned a liability to somebody.
And so, interventions such as these are designed to ameliorate the hardships that widows go through, considering the current economic realities.
Because a lot of them, some of them has even undergone so many skills, but they needed empowerment for them, finances for them to thrive in whatever that they need to do.
Investigation has it that Nigeria accounts for over 8 million widows from the global statistics of 258 million, according to the United Nations. Hence, the reason behind stipulating 23rd of June every year as International Widows' Day to galvanize support to end the plights of widows and their children. The theme for this year is accelerating the achievements of gender equality with emphasis on strengthening land and property rights of widows. Ngozi Teknikio, NTA News.
Thank you, Ngozi. Let's take a break. The news continues shortly. Thanks for staying with the NTA. To drug interception, a snake-guarded shrine used to hide illicit drugs in Benin City, Edo State, has been raided by operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA. Salwat Khalil Ibrahim reports that the anti-narcotic body took its advocacy to the National Christian Center as part of activities to commemorate this year's World Drug Day.
At least 2 ladies were arrested during the intelligence-led operation on Tuesday, 18th June 2024, after the big black snake guiding the shrine was demobilized. Different quantities of illicit substances such as methamphetamine, loud, Colorado and Arizona, all strong strains of cannabis with a total weight of 8.743 kilograms were pulled out from the deep hole dug in the wall of the shrine building. Meanwhile, NDLEA officers in Lagos have intercepted a carefully packed consignment of 8.2 kilograms of methamphetamine at a motor park in Mazamaza, Ojo area of the state. The highly addictive illicit substance, also called ice or crystal meth, was packed in imported chocolate, wrapped and concealed in the casing of 3 loudspeakers. In Abuja, operatives on Tuesday, 18th June, intercepted a white Nissan Frontier pickup vehicle with a fake registration number of a security agency in Kuje area council of the FCT. The vehicle was loaded with 454 compressed blocks of cannabis sativa, weighing 340.8 kilograms. A 76-year-old grandfather allegedly linked to the consignment was arrested. He claimed to have been in the illicit drug business for 10 years. Meanwhile, the NDLEA is also deploying spiritual approach in dealing with drug abuse and rehabilitation as they embark on thanksgiving to God.
And as we have the situation where the NDL is doing a laudable job dealing with the drug, cartels and all the barons and quanko, the church needs to rise to the occasion. We need to be able to rehabilitate most of the drug addicts and get them back into the society. And I believe that a spiritual approach to it, will make a difference.
Our officers go on hazardous assignment all the time, and we need God's protection. We need God to lead us. We need God to help us in our campaign against drug use. We need God to help us in our rehabilitation and get those ones who are already dependent on drug out of their woes. So all those things, we come here this morning to commit them before God.
In Abuja, Salwa Khalil Ibrahim, NTA News.
To border security, Comptroller General of Immigration Kemi Nandab has expressed confidence that e-borders will help mitigate trans-border crimes like smuggling. This was during her tour of border communities in Katsina and Jigawa states. Nandab visited the Fago Patrol Base, Daura Forward Operational Base, Kongolam Border Control Post and Megatari Control Post, where she inspected ongoing e-border projects and other facilities.
The distance in which the camera covers it's amazing. So it gives us an edge in terms of border management and border control. And it also helps our patrol officers, because when they wear the body cam, they're aware of what's happening, and the control room too is also aware.
She also called for improved interagency collaboration and more support from border communities to safeguard the nation's borders, especially unmanned areas.
My appeal to them is just to continue to work together, for us to have a very good working relationship with them, synergize with them, and support, of course. And NIS as an agency will also try and do whatever we can.
The Nigeria Immigration Board is committed to improving the welfare of officers, particularly the Special Border Corps that will be set up. Now, the pain and sacrifices of military personnel cannot go unnoticed. This is because many have paid the price while safeguarding the integrity of the nation. These were words of the Overseeing Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Samuel Aruwan. Commanders and Commandant Nigerian Defense Academy at a dinner for wounded soldiers. Haruna Mohammed reports that the banquet was at the instance of the Nigerian Defense Academy.
They are battle-tested soldiers who have fought in various theaters of operations across the country, and like the creed in love service, only the wounded soldiers can serve. Evident on their faces how motivated they are as wounded personnel of the armed forces treated with sumptuous dishes amidst motivational live band and performance in the spirit of festivity amidst senior officers and commanders. The Overseeing Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Samuel Aruwan, as well as the Commandant, Nigerian Defense Academy, Major General John Ochai, described the wounded soldiers as defenders of the country, having paid the price with their blood, a testament to endless capacity that will leave a true test of adaptation to rise again.
Despite the difficulties that they have found themselves, we encourage them to know that it is not in vain.
We were all in our various houses and villages celebrating the Salah holiday. But these wounded in action soldiers were here in the hospital, not out of choice, but out of necessity. They took the bullets for the nation to be at peace.
The dinner for the wounded in action personnel will go a long way in providing succor for the heroes. From the Nigerian Army 44 Reference Hospital, Kaduna, I am Haruna Mohammed.
Meanwhile, the air component of Operation Delta Safe has destroyed 13 illegal refining sites, 7 container boats, and dispersed 5 J5 buses attempting to siphon suspected crude oil products from surface tanks. In a statement, NAF says some of the illegal sites were discovered near Imo River with 7 overhead tanks, which were subsequently destroyed, while several suspect bunkers were seen fleeing. Airstrikes were also extended to Wilcourt in Rivers State. After an illegal site, Kano filled with illegally refined products and gunboats were seen. Similarly, illegal refining sites located about 6 kilometers from Tono in Bayelsa State were identified and destroyed successfully by air crew. Now, to the fire that razed parts of Christ Embassy building at Oregon, Lagos, and Jennifer Igwe set with the updates.
Although the fire, which started in the early hours of Sunday, has been contained and prevented from spreading to other structures around, it has severely damaged parts of the church building.
What we start looking at is the secondary challenge, like collapsed building, which we don't want, like anything that can, the reignitions of the fire. These are the things we are looking at as in the secondary survey, and we are doing it perfectly with all the teams. There's no mortality, there's no morbidity. We are still carrying out rescue operation and recovery. After that, we will conduct holistic investigation. Then we'll be able to tell the good people of Lagos State what led to this. They have the fire hydrants that they are using. Some of their men were trained in the fire operations. So, and you can see us working together.
We have emergency responders still on ground working, and because we cannot be allowed to go beyond this point, we don't know exactly what is happening inside. But there's one important point that the emergency agency mentioned, and the fact that the church has a vibrant fire safety department and hydrant that is helping them. In Lagos, Jennifer Igwe, NTA News.
In a bid to ensure an improved and efficient service delivery, the federal government has reaffirmed its commitment towards prioritizing the welfare and development of all civil servants in the country. President Bola Tinubu stated this in a message to guests at the award and gala night in commemoration of the 2024 Civil Service Week. Haman Jabani reports that 39 civil servants were honored and each received the sum of 500,000 naira under the Emily AIG Imokwede Memorial Endowment Fund and grants supports.
The implementation of reward and recognition system, which is integrated into the 6 pillars of the Federal Civil Service Strategic Implementation Plan 2021-2025, aims to boost employer morale and enhance overall productivity and loyalty. President Bola Tinubu, who was represented by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, says his government is steadfast in cultivating, empowering, and professionalizing human capital development within the service.
Over the past year, I have provided all the necessary support to the head of the civil service of the Federation to ensure the continuous stability of the civil service and to implement far-reaching policies and reforms capable of improving efficiency and service delivery.
The annual reward recognizes civil servants with a proven record of excellence, and these 39 officers have distinguished themselves are rewarded for their dedication to duty with a cash gift of 500,000 naira each under the Emily Imokwede Memorial Endowment Fund and grant support for the year 2024.
These and many more are a demonstration of the government's commitment to the welfare of its workforce.
Every year since we started the endowment, I've watched very carefully watched the event. I've looked at the faces of the civil servants, I've looked at the demeanor of the civil servants, and every year I see a more confident Nigerian public servant.
And Bola Ahmed Tinubu promised us Renew Hope agenda. He will not leave it, he will not do it alone. He will hand over to the policy implementers, initiators, and we are the implementers. And in advising them, we'll be able to, tell them that yes, there is hope.
3 lucky winners also got special gifts of a brand new car, a 2-bedroom semi-detached bungalow, and a service land measuring 400 square meters. The Office of the Head of the Civil Service of the Federation, in partnership with I Omokode Foundation, launched the Culture Book Initiative Handbook, which aims to promote a dedicated workforce within the nation's civil service. Hamman Jabani, NTA News.
And next, some sporting stories. Thank you, Badi, for the updates. Egypt withdraws licenses of over a dozen tourism companies. Details with Francis Udojo on Global Updates.
Reports said as many as 1,000 pilgrims died in Saudi Arabia from illness, but the Prime Minister's office tasked with handling the crisis has confirmed only 31 deaths. The Saudi Arabia authorities accused some travel agencies of deception, obtaining personal visit visas from their victims who are not entitled to medical treatment in Saudi hospitals instead of Hajj visas. Investigations revealed that most of the victims reportedly trekked through the desert into Mecca to avoid arrest or deportation. More than 50,000 Egyptians officially participated in this year's pilgrimage. In another development, Sierra Leone's parliament has approved a law banning child marriage in a development lauded by activists as a major win for children's rights. The law criminalizes marrying girls under 18 years. It also prescribes jail terms of up to 15 years for offenders. Meanwhile, Japan's Emperor Naruhito and Empress Masako has arrived Britain for a 3-day state visit hosted by King Charles III. The royal couple are to spend Sunday and Monday at private engagements before the official program begins on Tuesday. Francis Dojo, NTA News.
In other news, Vice President Kashim Shettima commiserates with the Chairman Senate Committee on Judiciary, Legal Matters and Human Rights and Senator representing Northern Borno, Senator Mohammed Tahir Monguno, over the demise of his father, late Tijani Mohammed, in Maiduguri. Mohammed Goni reports.
The funeral prayer for the deceased, attended by dignitaries from within and outside, including Nigeria's Vice President Kashim Shettima, was performed by the Imam Ideni of Borno, Imam Shettima Muhammad Saleh.
It's a celebration of life, not a cause for mourning. May Allah grant his soul eternal rest and reward him with his Al-Jannah Firdaus. May Allah also give the family to fortitude to bear the irreparable loss. But in reality, it's a celebration of life. For someone to live to the ripe old age of 95 is a cause for celebration, not for mourning.
Expressing his gratitude on behalf of the family, Senator Monguno thanked the Vice President, Acting Governor, and all who took time to pay condolence to the family.
For one to die at 95 is a celebration of life. All we can say is that may Allah grant him Al-Jannah Firdaus, and those that he left behind the fortitude to bear the irreparable loss.
Late Tijani Muhammad, who died at the age of 95, left behind 17 children and many grandchildren. In Maiduguri, Mohammed Goni, NTA News.
Now let's take a quick look at the weather picture for tomorrow, Monday.
Hello, and thank you for joining us on the weather forecast. The southeastern states as well as the coastal belts of the country are expected to experience morning rains. These isolated rains are also expected to affect parts of Edo, Delta and Bayelsa states. There's still prospect of morning thunderstorms to parts of Nasarawa, Benue, Kogi, Kwara, the FCT, Niger, as well as parts of Taraba, Adamawa, Jigawa, Kaduna, Kano and Zamfara states. As we go into the afternoon and evening hours, there are better prospects of isolated thunderstorms, particularly to the north and the north-central region, while moderate rains are anticipated to the southern region of the country. The air quality shows good air quality to the places in green coloration. Stand by for the temperature forecast. I am Theodora Itzum. Thank you for watching.
That's the news segment. More to come with our Captain Claire after this break.
His Excellency Malam Diko Umaru Rada,